Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Winning Time. Jeremy Boudinet here, coming to you live from Dallas, Texas. That's Brian Trautschold, coming to you live from an undisclosed location in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Right, BT?
Extremely uncomfortable right now. Not in my podcast cave. I'm in another room in an undisclosed location, and it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same to be, to be trying to zig when you're zagging and zag when you're zigging. When I'm not in I don't have the right feng shui about me.
You're playing an away game today. You're not in the friendly confines. You're in a hostile environment.
Yeah, but it's like an away game in like Monterrey, Mexico. Like you don't know like what any of the signs say, like for the locker room. Like you can't understand.
Everything's in Spanish. The cartel's waiting outside if you win.
Well, yeah, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, it just doesn't have the same feel. You're exactly right. I feel like I'm playing an away game. But yeah, I'm excited to be back. The last episode was unhinged is the only way I can describe it. I think there's been some shock and awe from the spectators out there. I don't know that anyone's ever done it. I don't know that anyone ever has declared these are the people I would pick. Whether they like me, know me, respect me or not, I would pick these people to start this fantasy business with. But I feel like there are people who are now inspired to just do that, just to be like, hey, Peter, you have an open offer to join this body.ai. We're ready. We're prepared.
The email's going to read, drafted you in the 6th round,
Please report within the next 2 weeks. It's like the NFL.
Peter, you're my 6th round draft pick in this startup fantasy draft. I need you to swing by my office Friday to sign your onboarding agreement. Yeah, it was a great concept, man. I think people gave it a lot of love on LinkedIn. I love how horrified you were at the fact that I tagged every single person I drafted.
I was... I've gotten better about this in my old age / just giving fewer Fs. And I was mortified because there are some of those people who I do know. And, but at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, whatever. The cool ones are cool. The less cool ones you picked. So it's whatever.
I feel like shamelessness is one of my best qualities as a marketer, and that was definitely a shameless post by me. I did get one shout out from one of my picks. Yaniv Mesjed, my old boss. Thank you.
He's cool. He's ready. He's ready for preseason. He's ready for camp. He's ready to go.
Early ambition adopter. Quick Yaniv story real quick. We did have a flag football competition every year at Nextiva, like teams within Nextiva compete against each other. He did hire a real coach to coach us on his team that he drafted, Coach Mack, insane. And paid money out of his own pocket. Yes, that is how ruthlessly committed to winning he was. So that's a great signal if you're looking for a good leader to be on your team. But all right, so this week, BT, we're going a different route. We went positive last week. I want to go negative. I want to go on a rant this week. Okay. And so I queued up a theme for this week that I think is going to be near and dear to both our hearts. I'm interested in seeing how many of these you agree with me on. And this is 12. I chose 12 because I've been working in SaaS for 12 years. And the topic is the 12 red flags in SaaS. And this applies to sales. Some of it's sales related, some of it's marketing related, some of it's leadership, tech, dev team related. But I want to call out some of the red flags I've noticed, pattern recognition over the last 12 years. So I think it's good for everyone to know that when you're working at a company, if you start seeing this stuff happening, these are red flags. These are no-nos. You need to be, if you see something, say something.
I look forward to just bandwagon jumping on multiple of what I can only assume are these 12 red flags. Also, good inspiration. I feel like we're going to have to, in the coming weeks, do a green flags episode. Yes. Maybe a green flags to pick on the Tinder dating generation, but I'm definitely more excited to hear the red flags.
Yes. So once again, these run the gamut. They're in no particular order, and I'm ready to just dive in. BT, are you ready, buddy?
Is my job here to color comment? You're going to set it up. You're gonna give me the diatribe, and I'm just here for the Tony Romo role of just like the booger a little bit more stuff on it.
Sounds good. All right. A role you were born to play. So let's do it. All right. So red flag number one, and I'm speaking to this as a marketer, MQLs, marketing qualified leads, a term that's been around since I think right after I joined the SaaS marketing world, a term that I've hated since day one, because to me, it's not real. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a marketing qualified lead. And these are leads that marketing is saying is qualified before sales has ever touched them. They could be, a form fill. It could be an ebook down. A lot of times it's like an ebook download, or it's an event attendee or something like that, something fluffy. And to me, you don't know. It's not real until they have the first meeting with the sales rep or they sign up for the platform. If you have a freemium sort of approach, it's not real until they actually talk to somebody and that person vets them and says, hey, this is a real lead. I don't even like counting these or thinking about these or looking at these. BT. Thoughts?
I don't even want to try to put together how much time I've spent talking about fucking MQLs over the past 15 years with you, arguing about MQLs with you, with
Yes.
a succession of other marketing leaders after we worked together. You said it exactly correctly, because it is great to track the intent of your engaged audience. And it's great to track how those people are entering your universe, interacting with you, if they're progressing. All that is excellent. But, to use a Mike Tyson quote, like, you don't really know, or a questionable quote, you don't really know what you got until you get punched in the mouth. And right. in our world, in sales and in the business development side, that happens when a real conversation, a real interaction happens between your selling team and the prospect. Totally get why you want all of the inference on, was this quality, were they in our ICP, all that shit. But any presentation or slide or dashboard that has like an MQL number, I've already moved past it. I've already mentally moved on to the next thing.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. And a great way to get marketers to stop thinking about MQLs. We actually figured this out, BT, back in the day, but I got commission for SQLs that got created by marketing. And those were leads that became opportunities that sales verified was an opportunity. So, I think marketers thinking about like that being the number and having some sort of incentive or something tied to that. I think that's a really strong way to incentivize them to forget about MQLs. Not a real thing.
Yeah.
They're like,
not a real thing.
Yeah. Number two. All right. This is going to upset some people. I'm excited to upset some people with this because I feel very strongly about it. And
you think this is the only one that's going to upset people? Because I think many people are going to be upset throughout the list.
That's true. Well, this one's really going to upset people. But I'm sorry if this is you, but I stand by it. And that is offshore dev teams. Never seen it work well, ever. I've been in SaaS for 12 years. I've worked at multiple companies that have offshore dev teams, either as ancillary or as the primary dev teams. Guess what? The products didn't work very well. They were buggy. They took forever to launch. Contrast that with the American dev teams I've worked at, which were shipping left and right like crazy. It's worth the extra money, guys. It is worth it. It's like the CFL versus the NFL. You have NFL players, they're just better. You know what I'm saying? They cost more money, but you're going to go and make a lot more money and your business is going to be worth a lot more versus a CFL player playing for peanuts and you're up in, Saskatchewan with the Rough Riders just struggling to make it. So that's my rant. I don't see why companies do this because I've seen it fail time and time again. And especially if you're a startup, I think going with an onshore dev team is the way to go.
RIP to the CFL catching strays for no reason to really get brought in there. I'm gonna temper this one because I think in general, this is a good, at least yellow flag, and then oftentimes where it becomes the way that a company exclusively develops products, it's a red flag for sure.
Yes.
And I've seen multiple companies that, and I don't want to pick on any specific geography of outsourced talent because even us at different times, we've had great experiences specifically on a project basis or on like certain component basis where this has been great. But Ambition's culture has always had a strong onshore team a very strong engineering culture. But yes, when a company makes the strategic shift to really pivot, I would say like the priority resources end up being offshore somewhere else. And then what I really mean there is like they're an employee of a different company. There's a company in between.
Yep.
That I've never seen work out super, super well. And I think it's just in our world and in startups and the nature of the iteration and sometimes like how deeply you have to understand the customer's pain. You're putting an extra layer of like the telephone game in between the pain you're trying to solve for and the person who is, building, fixing, doing. And, that's before you get into time zones, language barrier, a different employer who you're contracted through, just a whole myriad of things. So in a tactical sense, I think there are lots of examples of companies that do this really, really well. As a broad strokes strategy, ultimately to save money on the P&L, I think it is a losing strategy. So
Agreed.
Those are two different situations. But I think your point is if you walk in and there are no product and engineering people in North America and you are at a company that's based in North America, this is not a great start. Not a great sign.
A little alarming. Yeah. And I did that. And guess what? It didn't work out. We never shipped the platform that they were building in the 2 years I was at this company. I won't call it out, but it didn't work. So, all right, offshore dev teams, red flag for Jeremy Boudinet and somewhat for BT. Number 3, this is a great one. Everyone should agree with this one. I think at this point, if you're actually trying to get on this list, you are just a complete psychopath because of the negative connotation it's brought. But 30 under 30. I had lunch with a guy, BT, about an hour ago who said specifically he was looking for a sales job at a tech company. He goes, I was literally looking to avoid 30 under 30 founders because of the negative connotation.
I like this. I thought you were about to say he told you that he was on the list and he was trying to avoid the list, which is a good thing.
Yeah. No, it's become one of the hilarious jokes in startups where the correlation between being on that list and, eventually going to jail for some sort of fraud is insanely high because the signal, if you're someone who wants to get on that list, is that you are all about perception. You're all about how do I look? What's my reputation? What's the hype around me like? And you're not an operator. The best guys I've ever worked for, the best CEOs, CMOs, super low key. Like, yeah, there you go. Your dog agrees. Super low key guys. Didn't want any of that outside recognition. We're just operators in the business looking to crush it. And I think that holds true here. So if you have someone you can work for that's like that, that's a green flag. But the opposite is someone who is actively touting on LinkedIn they're 30 under 30.
I couldn't agree more. I have zero disagreement here. In fact, I think there's 40 under 40s also, and it's all bad. Maybe to flip it, no one has asked me, Forbes people, whomever, if you're putting the 40 under 40 together, I want to be on it just to hang out with the people who are in there to see what type of schemes they're working on. I want to know the schemes. I want to know the chicanery that's underway. And I just want to be ahead for when, the fallout starts.
Yeah. I want to know what sort of pyramid schemes, what sort of cabals they're running.
Yeah. Like, what's the latest NFT? Who's coming up with it? That person is on one of these lists. They're in, and you know what this is a nuclear red flag is if they've taken that digital recognition of being on the list and they physically impose that on some type of, decor or some type of, encapsulating that in on a wall, like run away.
They've paid money to have a plaque that is visible on the back of their Zoom or whatever. That's a really bad sign. So, agreed. Nuclear red flag, man. All right. So along the same lines, we're going to keep this moving. Number 4. All right. This is what I want to say. I will qualify this with, I've worked with some phenomenal people who have this next attribute I'm about to discuss, but I would say by and large, this is a red flag for me. And that is an MBA. I am not buying the MBA hype, never have. I've had more bad experiences than good experiences. There have been good experiences. I want to say, shout out Chris Rayburn at Nextiva. Phenomenal. He's an MBA, phenomenal guy, phenomenal business leader, but a lot of bad ones, including some that were so bad, they almost pretty much tanked the company I was working at. And like, that is a huge problem for me. I also want to say conversely, again, similar to 30 for 30, the best founders and leaders I have worked for either had bachelor's degrees from state universities or they dropped out of college. Like, that's literally the best of the best that I've worked for. And so I'm seeing someone with the JD here. I have an advanced degree, but in general, dude, I'm not a fan of MBAs. Just saying.
I'm gonna leave those folks. I'm gonna acknowledge that your point is probably most often correct. And I'm gonna flip this one, and I'm gonna say, to your point about dropouts, industry change, people who don't have a background, the people who excel, or I think that you and I have seen excel, are just high agency, high motor people. And they don't have to be necessarily even good at a thing, but if they're just like driven to solve it, improve it, get involved, come up with a solution to it, those people, that's what you want. And it doesn't, and like to your point about having a JD, like it doesn't really matter what the background is or what the accreditation of you has been. If you are that type of person or have become that type of person, it's a good thing. And companies, I know you look for this, we love this. Like that's what we want. A high agency person, a person with a really high motor. And those things don't come with a piece of paper.
Agreed. Yeah. And a great point about creative outside the box thinking being necessitated by people who come from different backgrounds or are coming from some unorthodox position, whereas people who follow the MBA route are sort of following the safe approach to advancing in their career. And you can see that oftentimes affecting their thinking, where they aren't thinking creatively or strategically about problems sometimes. They're thinking about what's the approved, consensus way to do something.
That's right. I agree with you.
Yeah. So MBAs, I'm going to say typically a red flag. Sorry, MBAs. Number 5. This is a big one for me as a marketer because I think it's primarily misunderstood by most CEOs and most CFOs and people of that ilk. But last touch attribution, BT. Last touch, the obsession with last touch attribution in marketing. When you're having to explain, here's where these leads came from, and they want like, okay, we're only giving credit to the last thing this person did. It's like, this is not the true picture of how this person came to know, love, and trust our business. There was probably like 8 other things that happened. And so I think last touch attribution can get business leaders way too laser focused in on things like paid ads and, what sort of ads are we running, et cetera, when oftentimes they're going and looking at reviews. They're getting referred by people. They're seeing you on social. They watched you rank well on YouTube for a video about your topic. They saw that. None of that stuff gets credit. And so it ends up like you lose the budget to be able to do that stuff. That stuff is super important. And yeah, I think this is something that a lot of businesses struggle.
You as an expert in this took it in a direction I wasn't really expecting, which is the fuzziness and like the aggregate vibe really, really matters. Like, what is the interaction with social? How are people experiencing the brand outside of that one thing? And you're taking it in a true marketing leader, like down to, how are you justifying that buzz? I think of this, and once again, I've been in dozens of meetings where attribution, methodology, 2 words I wish I'd never heard, or, our attribution model have come up. And it's like the Gettysburg of marketing, the Civil War battle of people in your specific department of the company who are just ready to go to fucking war over who's getting credit, how do I get more dollars in the budget? Was that product marketing? Was that brand marketing? Was that the event team? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, we're in Antietam over here, and people are just shooting at each other across the field about who gets the who gets the, the box checked in Salesforce of what was the last touch.
It's brutal, man. I love the Gettysburg comparison because that's literally, I'm having like PTSD flashbacks to being in meetings at some of the companies where luckily I wasn't having to be the guy advocating, but I was watching like my leadership and it was just a war, and they're going to war with the CFO. There's internal and intra-marketing battles going on. It's not pleasant at all, and nobody wins. I feel like usually it's just a standoff and then we go back to doing business as usual.
You change it and then like inevitably like 75 days later, like the report that you look at to judge it, it's all like bad. You're like, well, change it back. Change it back.
Yes.
Revert to what we did before.
100%, man. 100%. And I've lots of uncomfortable conversations I've had even at like in my last company where it's just CEOs never want to hear there's a fuzziness to marketing. I get it. I get why, because you're like, okay, money in, money out. But, it's as a marketer, if you can learn to make a great case for multi-touch attribution, like figure out a good way to track it, that's like the most important thing you'll ever do, because then you will spare yourself from having to deal with so much bullshit going forward. Yeah. And you won't
that's a good one. That's a very good. That's a good one on the list.
Yeah,
might be the best one so far.
Thank you. I've it's from a deep dark place. All right, so number 6. Moving on to one that we all know and hate. I don't like if your business does this. Like, I'm sorry. The emails, the faux reply outbound emails,
the fake re, which were rampant for years and years and years. I don't know if I still get them occasionally, and I'm stunned every time. They don't work, and they never have worked. And it's the equivalent, I'll add into this, of just putting time on someone's calendar cold. You know what I mean? Like, which has happened. Hey, you want to be on a potential murder list. The blind cold calendar invite is, you should go to death row. You should be on death row if you do that.
You're a sick person if you do that.
The fake reply, which is what we're saying here, the fake reply, you start the email chain with a fake reply. I'm less hot about, but I just think it's it was a tactic, to your point. It was working. It was a new tactic, and it worked. And now, frankly, it doesn't work. And I'll use this for the first time so far in the combo. I thought I'd say it earlier. Just be better. Be better, people. Be better.
I feel like we don't need to belabor this one. This one's it was ipso facto, like it's self-evident. So erase ipso loquitur speaks for itself. Number 7, rebrands. And we have seen BT. I remember when SalesLoft did their rebrand. I think it was around 2019, 2020. And they slightly changed the color scheme and the logo, and they made the biggest to-do about it. Like they had just invented ChatGPT or something like that. And all I could think is, what a colossal waste of time and money for this brand. I think for the most part, rebrands are a waste of time unless there's like a really compelling need for it. We did a good rebrand at Tesla when I was there, but it was because we were launching a new product. I think and marketers that aggressively push for this without some sort of real strong push from the CEO or the sales leadership or someone like that, I question. So
I think you're right about this. And I think like brands should evolve. And I think this is where people, maybe kind of back to your academic and picking on the MBA people a little bit, like brands should always be evolving, and it is not newsworthy that your company changed its color scheme or changed the font logo or like whatever. Like that is relevant to you people inside. It is irrelevant to everyone outside. And that is, I think, where marketers, and this used to be, I think, a career tactic, was like, okay, well, if we do a rebrand, we do we change our value prop, we change our wording around, like, well, that buys me, the GM of marketing, time to be like, hey, we just did this thing. We just changed the color scheme. We just put a new like mascot up there. We got to give time. It's like when a GM and basketball like starts a rebuild and like trades the star players and like gets first round draft picks. It's like, whoa, you gotta give me like 2, 3, 4 years to like see how these guys mature. And Yeah, like I think the real answer should be like every brand should constantly be going some type of evolution and iteration, and there should be new, a vibe shift over time as the product and stuff change. And yeah, it's like news to make news that's not important to anyone other than the people who work at the.
It's a great distillation. It is, I think, what's being used as a craven career tactic, which I think is primarily what I see it as for a lot of the ones who do it poorly. It's
Craven.
like, it's craven, dude. Like just a craven career tactic to give me, I'm gonna be here for the next year for sure once we do this. We're gonna spend 6 months doing it, and then I'm gonna have 6 months to basically fall back on it as like a defense if there's any issues with lead gen or something like that. So yeah, and then the real red flag is if you're actively promoting it and hyping it super aggressively. Because to your point, if you're changing it internal and you're doing it, your main focus is like, this is gonna be beneficial for us. We don't need to like spend a lot of time making that a huge deal on social and to our customers, et cetera. It's more like this was a just strategic move we did to make more money versus like, check out this wild innovation that's happening. So
yeah, wild innovation is exciting. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. This is a very similar one to Rebrands. And this number 8, I'm going to go on a big rant about this. The concept of category creation, BT.
No. Oh, no.
The whole, first of all, the best equivalent I can think of. This is the equivalent of like trying to march your army into Stalingrad to do a land invasion of Russia in the winter.
In the winter?
Yeah. It's just a death sentence. Like you're like just gonna go in there and just get absolutely murdered. It does not work for the most part. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 SaaS brands truly pull it off. I think one was Drift with conversational marketing. That's like the one I can think that comes to mind, which did sort of make sense to them, but it's just a terrible idea. Like it's so much revolves around what are people searching for? What are people thinking about? How do they understand you very quickly? You posted some of us on LinkedIn, I think just yesterday, but they need to quickly understand what you do. And when you go out and you try to create something new that's some like niche, clever way to characterize yourself, you make it very hard for them to understand you, to find you, and when they get to your website to really figure out what the hell you're doing and to justify the spend internally. So doesn't make sense for me for the most part.
I feel like this is a therapy session now because I've advocated for this in the past. I have denounced when we've tried to do this in the past. I've been a victim of us doing this in the past, and everything you said is right. And it's kind of like Mean Girls, where category creation is kind of like where the friend of the girl is like, stop trying to make fetch happen. Like that's like the company is like, we're, just like whatever ridiculous set of 3 to 4 words that are you squished together. And it's like, I can't even come up with one off the top of my head, but it would be like revenue sustainability platform. And you're like, what are these things? What are the 3 things that you just said next to each other? And you're like, oh, well, it's not a sales coaching tool. It's a revenue sustainability platform. And now it's going to be a revenue AI sustainability platform. And to your exact point, which I think is, sorry to take us away from it, it's the exact point, which is in the eye and the mind of the customer who matters, none of those words mean anything. They think about things in the frame of what capability can I get from this tool? Like, what is the thing this tool does for me, which is typically a function and a feature. And for a decade, all of us in SaaS tried to go away from features. We tried to do these big 20,000 foot view words. And all the customer is thinking is like, dude, what is that thing? What does it give me? What can I do with it that I couldn't do without it? Or someone else does less good. And then the other side is, okay, now I understand what I can do with this tool. It lets me do X. What does that mean for me? Like, what do I get by being able to do X? And if it's like, pick a really simple one, HubSpot. HubSpot, at the end of the day, they do lots of things. They let me send emails to thousands of people. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't have HubSpot, I'd have to have someone else to do that. Pick your poison. And, the answer on the, like, what does that do for us is it lets us engage our customers and engage our prospects and nurture those people. Like, it drives people to our website so they can convert into our funnel. But like we've went into a journey into madness, coming up with so many ridiculous phrases that if you ask a person at your own industry conference and you're like, hey, what does revenue AI sustainability mean to you? They're going to be like, I don't know what that means, dude. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Doesn't solve any of my problems.
100%, man. Yeah, it's if you're doing buzzwords, especially if it's buzzwords and it's just all corporate jargon, which so many, I feel like websites, SaaS websites, even from like quote unquote successful companies are, it's just I don't see how they are going to survive. So, and there's been horror stories. Remember Gaetano Denardi, one of my old bosses, he's had some hilarious horror stories of clients of his that have done rebrands with category creation focus, where they've just seen their organic traffic just go off a cliff all of a sudden. And then they're just, after like 6 months of doing this big change, they just frantically are running back to what worked.
I think I think we're at a big pendulum moment on this because of content is now free and search and whether you're doing SEO or AEO, basically to your point, like does the customer identify the thing that you want them to get, the thing that you want to convert them on? If they don't understand that, like it's like going to a Michelin star restaurant and you get like a plate and you have no idea what the thing is because it's been so like doctored up. And you're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to eat that. Is that the like pre-food like garnish? Like, I don't know. I saw one really like literally 2 days ago in an email campaign from a customer from a company, that I think is actually like really up and coming and smart. And the 3 words that were like next to each other made zero sense to me. And I was like, I immediately was like, oh God, like they're fucked. Like they're in the wilderness.
Yeah, they're marching to Stalingrad as we speak, and they're going to eventually turn around and start sprinting back to, what made them successful. So, yeah, category creation, just avoid at all costs, IMO. All right, number 9, BT. We got 4 left. This one is one I've seen up close and personal firsthand. Hilarious failure every single time. I've also heard from other people who have been at other companies who have experienced the exact same thing, and that is installing playbooks from your prior company at your new company. Case in point, I was at Nextiva. They went out and hired some ex-Microsoft VP. Microsoft VP comes in, wants to install the Microsoft way at Nextiva. They went out and hired some ex-RingCentral VP. RingCentral VP wants to come in, install the RingCentral playbook at Nextiva. None of it worked. None of it. It's because they are coming from bigger orgs with more resources and a certain way of doing things. And these guys, instead of being creative and creating a bespoke playbook that worked well with the, very specific strengths and philosophies that applied inside of Nextiva, just were trying to copy paste what worked at their previous company. This happens all the time, especially with people who come from bigger companies to smaller companies, and it never works. And if you're interviewing someone and they're talking about doing this, it's a massive red flag. Because it's like the company rejects it. It's like an invasive species coming in, and it just is like doomed to fail, I feel like, almost every time.
I think to your point about like the company rejects it, especially fast, like, so this has happened multiple times at Ambition, where Ambition has a scrappy, high agency culture. There's lots of things we have been terrible at or that we tried to do and we fucked up. But you bring in like a really experienced, savvy executive and they throw presentations. Basically, they throw like presentation slop into the company. They're like, here's the way we're going to do this now. And on one hand, the good intention is they're like, man, we've got like these hungry, high agency people, they really care about their customers, blah, blah, blah. We just need to give them a format. We just need to give them a simplified way of doing things. But to your point, I've seen like where the deck was still labeled with like the logo of the past company and like, like literally like, hey, here's our deck, the deck that I used for this at X, like, let's just do it here. And yeah, like the people truly reject it. And I think there's something to having like, it's kind of like when a head coach or like an OC in football moves to a new program and like you got the Jeremy Boudinet offense, and the offense isn't like we have this play blue 47 Spectre left. It's like, no, we just try to do certain things. I have a concept where I try to make certain things happen. And that's more of like a framework or a heuristic that I do think transfers well. You can be like, hey, here's like my mental model of how I want to do things. And I've had experience with it being really successful in this way, but you have to apply it to the personnel and to the, like how the operation you're in, how it works. And it is not yeah, cool. We had this play. I had Tom Brady running it over here. Now I've got Brian Trautschold, who's an idiot and is not an athlete. He's going to run it here. Great. Like, just go.
Yeah, 100%. It's like you're it's like Tom Brady to Shedeur Sanders. You're going to want to run different playbooks for those two quarterbacks.
You've got to work with your personnel. And like you said, I mean, I do think the culture is a really, really like huge part of it. You want to
100%.
improve the culture, not like copy and paste the culture.
100%. So definitely avoid all costs. It's just blanket blind installing of prior playbooks into companies. There needs to be some, it's okay if you bring some elements, that's fine. But I've seen if we're copy pasting this thing, that's not the move. I've never done that. Any of the companies I've worked at, you got to create what works for that company. Number 10, one, again, I don't think we need to belabor this one, offering gift cards in exchange for a demo. It's like the last gasp of a dying like sales org. I feel like I've seen this happen inside of a company or two I've worked at. And you kind of just feel bad for the sales leader where they're having to do that. It's like nothing else is working, so we're literally just going to pay people to hop on demos with us. And I don't think it works. I haven't seen it work, and I don't see why people would think it works because like there's still no value you need to make sure there's actual value being offered to them in terms of what you're providing. And I guess you're going to assume the call is going to do the job for you once they're on the call, but I don't think so. I think it's going to not go well.
I got physically engaged when you just said this one because I'm a mega hater on this strategy, have been a hater, but I will also confess, I go on, and I've done this recently, like as recently as within the last, I don't know, few months, the amount of people who are pushing stuff to get you on demos, it feels like has not been this high. Maybe this is a sign of an impending crash of the economy because it was like 2021 or I don't know, 2022, the last time I felt like this fervor to just get people to sign up for a demo. And I am absolutely unequivocally fine just signing up for your stupid demo to get free shit from you now. I'm like, I don't even care. Like, you want to give me AirPods? I'm in. You want to give me a grill? I'm in. You want to send me like fucking Yeti cooler? I'm in. And deep down, I know I don't need any of this shit. I don't need any of the stuff that is being marketed. But you know what I can do? I can listen for 30 minutes, maybe listen, and I'm gonna get the shit out of those AirPods, and they're gonna be great. And I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, yeah. You've got me thinking too, because I want to caveat this. I'm talking about like just a bland, generic gift card, cold outreach offer for a demo. If you're giving gifts, if you're doing I think it was Sam Blonde, one of my fantasy startup draft picks, giving out champagne bottles to very specific people with like handwritten notes about why they should check out your company. I think
that's actually different. That's a different thing.
It's a different thing. That's like a custom gift with a lot of thought and intent behind it versus a cold email saying, hey, here's a $25 Starbucks gift card if you hop on demo with me. So it's if you're going to do it, go all the way. If you're going to make it count.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I do think that high-end, high-intention ABM is a good strategy. If you're writing people handwritten notes, I think that you have won at least the initial attention. Maybe not 100% of the time, but a significant percent of the time. If you are sending people a grill for signing up for a demo, man, I would love to be in the grill business because you are just slinging grills and you are not building a ton. I know you are not building a ton of pipe.
You'll take a green egg from someone.
I'll take, yeah.
Yeah.
I am shameless right now, and I will acquire all types of goods via your investor money. I don't care at all.
You heard it here first. BT's attention can be bought by high-end luxury goods. So
If you are desperate to show that your SQL numbers and your top of funnel numbers are up this month, I will happily take another pair of AirPods off of you, and I will never think about you again afterward.
I love it. All right, number 11, connect and pitch. Huge red flag. Like, come on, dude. Like, you connect me on LinkedIn, you immediately pitch me. It's never worked. I've received thousands and thousands and thousands of these. Everyone hates it. It is commonly called out on LinkedIn. I don't even know why people bother doing it. I'd rather, if you're going to blast out 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 cold emails, fine, go ahead. But I feel like that's better than doing a connect and pitch motion, which is also harder to execute and more time consuming. And it's just a waste of time.
I feel like I actually love this one. And I'm going to comment on the pod right now for the listeners. Jeremy, I feel like you're just dragging right now. And the topics that you're bringing up, they're just bringing me, I'm peaking as you get into this section of the pod. You were all hot and bothered about the marketing metrics and the attribution, and I get hot and bothered about this stuff because what's happening now. And I feel, you know what? It's the first time I've said this ever in my life. I feel bad for the attractive people, because if you are moderately attractive on LinkedIn and you are trying to do connect and pitch, or you're just trying to connect with people, I just assume that you're AI generated. Like, if you look attractive in whatever, ever your situation is, I'm like, that's a robot, 100% robot out of the gate. And like, I have so many, I know you're the same way. Every day, it is like a legion of young, attractive people who are like, connecting. And then if you hit connect, which is a mistake, you just immediately get the message of like, blah, 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 Brian, I wanted to tell you about blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, God damn it. So like, there's never been a better time to be unattractive, because robots don't make unattractive profile pictures. They make attractive ones.
Are we about to see a rise of just obese and like balding AEs? It sounds like it. I also love the fact, because I know this happened with you about a year ago, you posted a actual LinkedIn DM conversation you had with an AE where you were asking her to prove she was really a human.
And then she never proved it.
She never proved it.
I mean, this is like the Turing test. You can't trust it on LinkedIn / any of these things, because like, we built a tool that literally has perfected the ability to respond like a human being. Like, LLMs are literally perfect in this. And so, yeah, I felt bad. If that's a person, sorry, but I still am under the impression it was a robot.
She was asking her sales manager, how do I respond to this guy asking for proof that I'm an actual human? I've never gotten this objection before. I don't believe you're a real person. It's a hard one.
It's like, I will physically come to your office. I'm like, I don't believe it.
No, I don't believe it. So connected pitch, definitely a red flag for both of us. Number 12, last one. I saw on LinkedIn today someone talking about this, and I know it's amazing how much this topic has been talked about, and it's never worked on me. No one's ever actually done it successfully to me. I'm talking about personalization at scale. When you hear this term, BT, I've been hearing this shit since I was working at Ambition in 2017, 2018. I feel like it was when it first came about. It's just, it's like this idea that people want to be real, and it's not real and never will be real. I've used like the latest and greatest tools. One of my clients had a tool called Unified that swore it could do this, and it was still limited. I don't think there's such a thing as real personalization at scale. You're getting first name, you're getting saw your LinkedIn post about X, you're getting some other BS about saw on your website. It's not real. It's so easy to sniff out off the bat that it actually, I think, is even worse than just sending me a cold template. I don't see this working. Maybe one day it will with where LLMs are going, but it's just, anyone who's talking about this, I'm like, dude, you're talking about fool's gold.
Bethany was on the SOS with us the other day, and I think she summed this up really well. And like, to your exact point, it was novel when you were sending a one-to-one email and you took 30 seconds to go look up Jeremy. And 10 years ago, it was novel to be like, do you like the Tennessee Vols, blah, blah, blah. But when you get like 8 of those emails a week that are like, Jeremy, I saw you like the Tennessee Vols. I also went to an SEC school, blah, blah, blah. Or Brian, I see like the funniest thing to do now, and I think this is back to like unattractive people are gonna excel on the like versus the LLMs. But like if you put out any kind of dumb fact about yourself on LinkedIn, which I inevitably have now put out so many dumb facts about myself, like no one ever should write me a message like, Brian, I also enjoy playing pickup basketball. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You're a 22-year-old presenting female SDR on LinkedIn. Like, no, you don't. You don't do that. Like, stop. Like this is clearly automated. And it's like you're giving the AI personalization system. This is Kyle's fault and Manny's fault and all these people who built these companies, but you give them a mirror and they reflect back to you this mirror of what they think are, interesting things about you. And it's just like, that's the dumbest way. It just is so obvious when it's happening at a wide scale. And I think that's what, to your point, that to like to de-escalate myself a little bit, that's what people like when you're doing that countless times per day. Of course it's not going to work because we, the human being on the other end, we build up immunity to like, shit, the first time someone was like, oh, you're a UT grad, I'm a UT grad. If they are, I'm interested. If they're not, I'm like, why would you bring that fact up? Like, why would you mention this thing?
Yeah, 100%. Another common one is, I saw you're connected with so-and-so. I am too. I hate to say it, but the 11,000 plus LinkedIn connections I have, I probably am actually like tight with 10% of them. You know what I mean? Or I could actually say I've hung out with them and I've had a meaningful conversation with them. So it's usually a big whiff. But yeah, I definitely think, it pays to go and do some research. You can use Claude or ChatGPT to do that. But like, just don't try to blast it to like 1,000 people with the same template that's inserting personalization X for each person, because it's not going to work.
I totally agree. And back to Bethany's point, the thing that I think we could tell people to avoid and do instead is like, you're going to have to provide value or declare the value you think you can provide in an eloquent way in an email or a LinkedIn interaction or whatever. And I actually think that inversely in this crazy world, that is a lot easier when people are doing like really dumb personalization tactics and beating around the bush, and like they're trying to connect because they've read your profile and they're giving you like a little bit of like a custom intro. Instead, it's like, you could be as obvious as this. I spent 2 minutes looking at your LinkedIn. I'm familiar with your company. I've wanted to reach out. I think we could do X for you. That's just way more that resonates way better right now than like, Brian, we should connect because you play basketball. We connect and it's like, can I give you a pitch about this service that I work for?
100%. Yeah. Lead with the value. And you can, if someone's posting about, I'm having X problem, which I think Bethany was,
right.
Then like that's personalization that works, like go and talk about that. So, but I think so many people think personalization is, hi, first name, this is so-and-so. I saw you went to X school and know X person. We have X mutual interest. I might be able to help you with driving revenue. It's just not, it's like, come on, man, just get straight to the point with the values. So personalization at scale, number 12. That's our big 12, BT. So to recap, MQLs, no go. Offshore dev team, 30 under 30, MBAs, last touch attribution, emails, rebrands, category creation, installing prior playbooks, gift cards for demos, connecting and pitching and personalization at scale, sworn enemies of Jeremy Boudinet and most SaaS companies. Sounds like you too.
That's a tough read for a lot of savvy execs who are just thinking, I just got eviscerated right there. I just got eviscerated by Jeremy Boudinet on the red flag count.
It would be funny to just build a company that just does all 12 of these things. And this is like what you do. You're just constantly creating categories. You got an offshore dev team. You're only measuring MQLs. You rebrand every 6 months.
I want to have the episode. I want I want the villain, the heel of this story to reach out to us in the comments and be like, my company excels because we do all these things. And I just want them to berate mainly you, but me also on how we are wrong. So the floor is yours out there. If you're out there, we want you. Please reach out. But I think overall, are those fair in all cases? No. Are they fair more often than not?
Yes.
Maybe so, yes.
Yes. I would love, if I had $1 billion and I was just chilling, I would probably create a company as a joke that just does all these things. And then we'd follow along and see if the company actually succeeds. I'd create like a YouTube channel for it, body.ai. So that would be fun, I think, and kind of hilarious.
This would be a good spiritual successor to like Silicon Valley, is like a real world, like a social experiment where you've done this, and these poor unsuspecting MBAs and product marketers are just battling over the attribution model with some executive who's exclusively using like a PowerPoint from their old company.
This is a great reality TV show. It's Nathan For You meets Silicon Valley, and I'm here. If you're a Netflix executive watching this, I'm ready to go. Just get me going. Well, let's do this.
What's the CIA document where they basically built the whole playbook for like subverting an organization, and it's all about like meetings and then like arguing about things you've already argued about and like doing all these. Basically, the whole premise of the show is like living that document.
We destroy this company from the inside, methodically, day in, day out. I love it, man.
There's been many meetings where I've been in and I'm like, I'm actively being subverted right now. Like someone, like,
this is a psyop.
A state-sponsored actor is subverting me.
Gong sent someone in here to take us down from the inside. This is a Black Ops person. I love it.
It's just some poor, motivated young person who's like, please let me figure out our marketing attribution model. And I'm like, did Langley send this person in?
I love it, man. We're at time. We got to wrap for this episode, but BT, another great winning time, man.
60 minutes. That was amazing. These, supposed to be 30, but when you've got 12 and they're all bangers. I look forward to the comments. Thanks for listening. Shout out, winning time.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great one.